from stories across the world to stories here at home. This is the National News Broadcast. A very good evening to you. I'm Nitya Sarachandra.
And I'm Tarak Etiarachi. First, a look at the stories making the headlines this evening.
The 4 police personnel of the Police Narcotic Bureau who are alleged to have associated with a drug dealer are revealed to have earned over 30 million rupees. The Premier re-emphasizes the need for debt relief to be granted for developing countries affected by the COVID-19 epidemic. Legal action against non-adherence to health guidelines, including wearing face masks.
For those and more, Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa, at a discussion held with representatives of several organizations of the United Nations, re-emphasized the necessity for international monetary organizations to grant debt relief to developing countries affected by the COVID-19 epidemic. Representatives of the UN pointed out that the COVID-19 response implemented by Sri Lanka is an example to other countries. Representatives of several UN bodies, including UNICEF, met with the Premier at Temple Trees yesterday. The discussion was held on the objective of strengthening the social protection systems of Sri Lanka. The UN representatives pointed out the importance of launching social protection programs, prioritizing vulnerable groups that have been affected socially and economically due to the epidemic, especially young children, elderly persons, and differently abled persons. Explaining the steps taken by Sri Lanka, Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa pointed out that the government always gives priority to the needs of children. Issues faced by children due to the closure of schools in the wake of the COVID-19 epidemic were also discussed. The Premier pointed out that the assistance of international monetary organizations is extremely important for developing countries to implement social security programs. The Premier further stated that in the present context, international monetary organizations such as the World Bank and the IMF should prioritize the possibility of offering such debt relief. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa also pointed out the need for debt relief during the online summit of the non-aligned movement of nations recently. The UN representatives acknowledged the points put forward and commended the steps taken by Sri Lanka in all sectors to control COVID-19 thus far. UN residential representative to Sri Lanka, Hannah Singer, also took special note of the measures put in place in responding to the COVID-19 virus.
Something that changes your life story. Litro Gas.
Now, the 4 police personnel of the Police Narcotics Bureau who are revealed to have associated with a drug dealer in the Minuangoda area have reportedly earned around 31 million rupees. Police media spokesperson SSP Jalia Senaratne states that the 4 police personnel in question and a civilian are in custody upon detention order at the CID. Now, the CID launched an investigation after a drug dealer made a disclosure that a seized haul of heroin had been sold to the other drug dealers. The investigations have revealed that the police personnel in question have been involved in transporting narcotics and distributing substances mutually with the smugglers. The police media spokesperson stated that the assets earned by them worth over 30 million rupees have been discovered. Police media spokesperson SSP Jalia Senaratne states that investigations are also underway to ascertain as to whether these police officers in question are connected with the incident at Piliyandala in which a team of officers were shot at when setting out on a drug raid. SSP Jalia Senaratne further stated that currently the suspects are being detained under the Prevention of Terrorism Temporary Provisions Act and further investigations are underway. He stated that it has been revealed that apart from extremely large sums of cash earned through the drug trade, the suspects have also purchased a large number of properties and have also used many vehicles including cabs and motorcycles. SSP Senaratne stated that the CID has currently initiated an extensive investigation to ascertain as to whether personnel attached to the Bureau have aided and abetted in maintaining connections with the drug dealers.
සම්බන්ධයෙන් මේ වෙන විටත් අපරාධ පරීක්ෂණ දෙපාර්තමේන්තුව විසින් ඉතා පුළුල් විමර්ශනයක් ආරම්භ කර තිබෙනවා.
Meanwhile, a police constable serving at the office of the Anuradhapura Superintendent of Police has been arrested with 10 kilos of cannabis. Upon a tip-off received by the Anuradhapura Division's Crimes Prevention Unit, undercover agents were deployed and the police constable in question was arrested. In the investigations, it was revealed that this constable had been transporting cannabis over a period of time in police uniform, and the stock of cannabis transported from Kilinochi had been distributed in the areas around Anuradhapura. The former superintendent of the Negombo prison has been interdicted after an inquiry. Prisons Commissioner Chandana Ekanaika states that the former prison superintendent has been interdicted upon points proven at the preliminary inquiry into the discovery of many prohibited items, including a refrigerator, a microwave oven and mobile phones from 2 prison cells whilst he functioned as the prison superintendent. The Moratuwa Egodowina police have apprehended a youth aged 31 in possession of an imported revolver and the narcotic substance ice upon being produced before the Moratuwa magistrate. The subject has been detained for 2 days of questioning.
Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa says that given the present economic situation in the country, concessions will be granted through this year's budget to uplift the local cinema industry. The Premier made these comments at a discussion held at Temple Trees yesterday to discuss issues prevailing in the cinema sector due to the COVID-19 epidemic. At the discussion, it was stated that although steps have been taken to reopen cinema halls, film producers are reluctant to re-release their films for screening, fearing losses due to the present situation in the country. Director General of Health Services, Consultant Dr. Anil Jasinger, stated that health guidelines on the reopening of cinema halls have been provided to cinema hall owners. Thereby, he requested for social distancing and behavioral changes to be maintained to further support the health authorities to control the virus. The cinema hall owners called to mind the concessions granted to artists when Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa was president and pointed out that a large number in the cinema industry have been inconvenienced as the previous regime scrapped the tax concessions. They request for the tax concessions to be granted once again. The Premier explained that the present economic status of the country and the manner in which the economy has collapsed due to the COVID-19 epidemic. The Prime Minister instructed Ministry Secretary Bandula Harishchandra to discuss with the Electricity Board and arrive at a solution with regard to the request put forward by cinema hall owners to have the electricity bills of cinema halls calculated upon the industry calculation method. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa said that considering the present situation, it has been decided as to what concessions can be included in the budget. He further stated that considering the economic situation in the country, possible concessions will be provided. However, the Premier noted that granting concessions will be useless if not utilized properly. Secretary to the Prime Minister, Gamini Senarath, Secretary to the Finance Ministry, S.R. Artigala, and Secretary to the Ministry of Buddha Sasana, Cultural and Religious Affairs, Bandula Harishchandra, also attended the discussion.
Now, full COVID-19 recoveries reported in the country have exceeded 80%. The number of patients that have been discharged from hospitals currently stands at 1,639. Today, 19 COVID-19 infected patients were reported in the country. They are all returnees from Bangladesh. According to the report issued by the Epidemiology Unit, as at 10 a.m. today, within the past 24 hours, 20 patients have been discharged upon full recovery. Yesterday, 4 COVID-19 infected patients were detected in the country and they are returnees from Pakistan. Since the 25th of April, no COVID-19 contracted patients have been reported from society. Director General of Health Services, Consultant Dr. Anil Jasinger, said that if the Navy cluster and the cluster of imported cases of the viruses are not taken into consideration, the number of COVID-19 positive patients detected in the country has been a minimal figure of 313 cases. However, Dr. Jasinger cautions that it is not a reason to be complacent as the situation globally seems to be worsening.
නමුත් අපට මේ ජයපැන් බීමට අවස්ථාවක් නොවේ COVID-19 සම්බන්ධව. ඔබ දන්නවා ජර්මනියට අද වෙලා තියෙන දේ, නවසීලන්තයට වෙලා තියෙන දේ, සිංගප්පූරුවට වුණ දේ. ඒතර මේ හැම රටකම නැවත මේ රෝගීන් ඇතිවීමේ තත්ත්වයන් ඇති වෙලා තියෙනවා. එතකොට නැවත රෝගීන් ඇතිවීම කියන එක තා පහසුවෙන් ඇතිවිය හැකි තත්ත්වයක්. වැදගත් වන්නේ මේ දක්වා අපි නෙලාගත් ප්‍රතිඵල ආරක්ෂා කර ගනිමින් මේ රට ඉදිරියට ගෙන යාම සඳහා රජයට සහාය දීම. දැන් අපට පෙනී යනවා මේ මෑත දිනවල ඇතැම් විට ජනතාව සමහර විට ආයතන යම්කිසි ආකාරයකට මේ කාරණා ගැන එතරම් සැලකිල්ලක් නොදක්වා කටයුතු කිරීම. අපි දකිනවා සමස්ත ජනතාව විසින් මේ කියන චර්යාත්මක වෙනස දිගටම පවත්වා ගැනීම.
Meanwhile, DRG Ajit Rohana states that legal action will be initiated against instances of non-adherence to health guidelines, including not wearing face masks. DRG Ajit Rohana states that the health and safety measures followed in the past 3 months need to be continued in the coming weeks to control the spread of COVID-19. The DRG warned that legal action will be taken under quarantine laws and criminal laws of the country against violators of health guidelines. He further stated that health guidelines such as washing hands and wearing face masks must continue. Amongst the 910 Navy personnel infected by the coronavirus, 821 have fully recovered. This is a percentage of 90.21. The number of Navy personnel undergoing further hospitalized treatment stands at 89, and this accounts for 9.78%. The total number of fully recovered COVID-19 patients in the country stands at 1,639. This is a percentage of 80.61. The number of patients undergoing further hospitalized treatment stands at 383, and this accounts for 18.83%. A group of 244 migrant Sri Lankans stranded in Bangladesh due to the COVID-19 epidemic returned to the island last night. They were subjected to PCR testing at the airport premises and were transported by the Sri Lanka Air Force to the respective quarantine centres. A group of 222 Navy personnel who underwent quarantine at the Mullaitiv quarantine centre run by the Air Force were discharged upon completion of their quarantine today.
Welcome back. We continue with your local stories. The Sri Lanka Eye Donation Society and the DFCC Bank have donated 1.3 million rupees to the COVID-19 Health and Social Security Fund. The monies were handed over to Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa at Temple Trees yesterday. A contribution of 100,000 rupees by the staff of the Sri Lanka Eye Donation Society was handed over by the General Secretary to the Society, EMHP Moragaswava. Meanwhile, the staff of the DFCC Bank have also donated 1.2 million rupees. DFCC chairperson Vasanthi Manchanayaka handed over the monies to the Premier last evening. Leader of the United National Party, Ranil Wickremesinghe, visited the Sedawatha Veheragoda ancient temple at Vallampitiya and engaged in religious observances today. The purpose of this religious exercise is to obtain the blessings of the clergy before commencing election activities of the party. UNP leader Ranil Wickremesinghe met with chief incumbent Venerable Ambevela Jnanaloka Thera and obtained blessings. The Thera chanted Set Pirit and imparted blessings for the commencement of election propaganda activities of the United National Party.
Now, a rehearsal on the counting of votes in view of the forthcoming parliamentary election was conducted at the Kurunagala District Secretariat today. The objective of this exercise was to rehearse the process adhering to the laid-down health guidelines efficiently. Election officials of the Anuradhapura and Mathale district were also present as part of the observations team. Chairman of the Sri Lanka Medical Association, Professor Indika Karunatilaka, and Kurunagala District Secretary R.M.R. Ratnaika also attended. Now, Army Commander Lieutenant General Shavendra Silva says that although COVID-19 contracted persons have not been reported from society, it is of utmost necessity to further adhere to health guidelines on controlling the COVID-19 virus. The Army Commander expressed these views after worshipping at the Temple of the Sacred Tooth Relic. Upon arriving at the Sri Dalanda Maligava, the Army Commander was welcomed by Diyavadana Nilame Pradeep Nilangadala. At the Askiri Mahaviharya, the Army Commander met with Chief Incumbent of the Askiri Chapter, Most Venerable Varakagoda Sri Jnana Ratanathera. Thereafter, he arrived at the Malvatu Mahavihara and met with Chief Incumbent Most Venerable Tibbatuave Sri Sumangala Thera.
කොවිඩ් ලංකාවේ තිබ්බෙත් නැහැ වගේ හිතාගෙන වැඩ කරන කණ්ඩායමක් අපි දකිනවා. ඉතින් ඒක ඉතාමත්ම භයානක තත්ත්වයක්.
Lieutenant General Shavendra Silva observed that there are groups of people who act as though the COVID-19 virus was never prevalent in the country. He cautions that such an attitude is a frightful situation, as although infected persons are not found in society, COVID-19 positive cases are being detected in hospitals. The Army commander states that the country was brought to this level by sacrificing immensely. Now he says that the responsibility of the public is to further adhere to health and safety guidelines set out by the health authorities.
That's all the news we have for you tonight. The national news broadcast will be back tomorrow. Until then, a very good night to you all.
Good night.